Have you ever felt like something divine lies within you, but you can't quite reach it? Like there's a deeper version of you waiting, calm, radiant, all loving, silently whispering through the noise of daily life. What if I told you that this presence is not only real, but it's your true nature, and that it's calling you right now to wake up? This is Christ consciousness, and it's not about religion. It's about remembering who you really are. Today, we're diving deep into how to awaken Christ consciousness not as an idea, but as a living reality that transforms everything. Whether you follow Jesus, study Eastern traditions, or just feel the pull of something beyond this world, this message is for you. Christ consciousness is not about worshiping a man. It's about embodying the same divine awareness that Jesus, Buddha, and other ascended masters awakened within themselves. It is the consciousness of pure love, radical forgiveness, unity, and divine power. And the best part, you don't need a church. You don't need approval. You don't even need to be perfect. All you need is willingness to remember the divine within. Let's walk this sacred path together. Let's pause for a moment and ask a simple, but life-changing question. What is Christ consciousness really? You might have heard this term floating around in spiritual circles, but most people are still unsure what it means. Is it religious? Is it mystical? Is it something only for saints and sages? No, it's for you. Right now, Christ consciousness is not a belief system. It's not about converting or following any dogma. It's a state of being, a frequency of pure love, a remembrance of your divine nature. It's the awakened awareness that you and the Creator are not separate, that the same divine light that lived in Jesus lives in you. Let that sink in. This isn't metaphor. This isn't theory. This is truth, the kind of truth that doesn't just inform you. It transforms you. When Jesus said, "I and the Father are one," he wasn't being exclusive. He was revealing a universal truth, that oneness with the divine is possible for every soul. He was showing us what it looks like when a human being becomes fully aligned with God's love. He didn't come to be worshipped, he came to be mirrored. He came to wake something up in you. And here's the real miracle. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be pure. You don't even have to be certain. All you need is the willingness to open your heart, to remember that the light you've been searching for your whole life was never out there. It's been quietly burning inside you all along. Think of Christ consciousness as a seed in your soul. It may have been buried under fear, shame, conditioning, or pain, but the seed is still alive. And the moment you start watering it with meditation, with love, with truth, it begins to grow. It shows up as compassion, as peace when there should be panic, as forgiveness when others expect rage, as joy that isn't tied to outcomes. You begin to see the world differently, not with the eyes of fear, but through the eyes of love. This is Christ consciousness. It's not reserved for mystics. It's your birthright. It is what you already are, underneath all the layers. And right now, in this very moment, that sacred light is stirring within you, calling you home. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm being called to awaken Christ consciousness within me? Let me tell you something from one seeker to another. If you've made it this far into this message, you already are. That quiet inner nudge you've been feeling, the sense that there's more to life than what you've been told, that's not random. That's the call. But just to bring it into focus, let me share 5 powerful signs that your soul is waking up to something divine. And as I say them, notice how many resonate with your own journey. 1. You feel disconnected from the world, but drawn to something higher. You look around and wonder, why does everything feel so fake, so loud, so empty? Material success, shallow conversations, scrolling for hours, it just doesn't satisfy your soul anymore. And even though this world feels more distant, you're being drawn quietly, irresistibly toward something higher, something sacred, something real. That is Christ consciousness beginning to stir within. It's calling you to rise above the noise and return to the truth of who you really are. 2. You can no longer tolerate ego, falsehood, or superficial living. Suddenly, you notice it. Fake smiles, power games, empty status, people pretending just to be accepted. But your heart craves depth. You want truth, even if it's uncomfortable. You long for relationships that are raw, real, and rooted in soul. You're tired of pretending. Why? Because the more you awaken, the less you can tolerate the illusion. Christ consciousness is truth consciousness. It dismantles the false self so the real self can shine. 3. You feel compassion rising even for those who hurt you. This one might surprise you. You used to carry grudges, right? Like anyone else. But now, something strange is happening. You find yourself feeling compassion, even for the people who wronged you. Not because what they did was okay, but because you see their pain. You sense their woundedness. You begin to realize, hurt people. This isn't weakness. This is strength, the strength of divine love moving through you. Forgiveness begins to flow more naturally. And that's a clear sign. You're operating on a higher frequency. 4. You crave inner peace more than outer success. You may still have dreams, goals, ambitions, and that's beautiful. But your deepest longing isn't for applause or approval anymore. It's for peace. A calm heart, a clear mind, a soul that's centered, regardless of what the world says. You're learning that true success isn't what you get, it's what you become. That shift is sacred. It means your soul is choosing alignment over achievement. That's Christ consciousness awakening in real time. 5. You begin to remember, you are more than this body. There are moments, maybe in meditation, maybe in nature, maybe just in silence, where you feel it, a spaciousness, a lightness, like you're not just a person with a name and a story. You are awareness itself, the one watching the thoughts, the one beyond the roles. And in that moment, you remember, you are not the storm, you are the sky. You are not just a body, you are the breath behind it. You are not separate from the divine, you are a living expression of it. That remembrance, that's not imagination. That's soul memory. That is the Christ light within, beginning to awaken. If even one of these signs speaks to you, take it as confirmation. You're not lost. You're not late. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're peeling away everything that you're not, so the divine can shine through everything you are. And I want you to know, this awakening is not a straight path. Some days will feel like setbacks. Some moments will feel confusing. But through it all, your soul knows the way. You are being called for a reason. And the light you carry is needed in this world more than ever. Let me tell you something that might challenge what you were taught growing up. Many of the deepest, most life-changing teachings of Christ were never emphasized in Sunday school. Some were even hidden or completely ignored. Why? Because they weren't about control. They weren't about fear. They were about freedom, spiritual, soul-level freedom. And when someone is truly free, they can't be manipulated. They can't be dominated. They listen only to truth. Christ consciousness isn't about obeying a religious system. It's about embodying divine love so fully that the illusion of separation dissolves. Jesus was a mystic first, a messenger of oneness. Jesus wasn't just a savior to be worshipped, he was a mystic, a teacher, a guide to the divine within. He didn't walk around demanding people convert. He sat with the broken. He touched the untouchables. He forgave without condition. He spoke in parables to reach the hearts, not just the minds, of the people. He said, "The kingdom of God is within you. You are the light of the world. Even greater works than these shall you do." Think about that. He wasn't trying to say, "I'm the only one." He was saying, "Wake up. What I've realized you can realize too." But much of modern religion focuses on worshiping the messenger, instead of walking the message. The forgotten truths of Christ consciousness. Here are some of the inner teachings that Christ consciousness reveals, truths that transcend religion, but resonate deeply with the soul. 1. You are not separate from God. Separation is the core illusion. We've been taught to see God as out there in the sky, on a throne, far away. But Christ taught God is here, now, within you. You are not a beggar before the divine. You are a vessel of the divine. You are not here to chase worthiness, you are here to remember it. 2. The ego must die for the soul to rise. When Jesus said, "Whoever loses their life for my sake shall find it," he wasn't talking about physical death. He was speaking of the death of the false self. The ego, your conditioned identity, your fear, your pride, your need to control has to be surrendered. Only then can the soul truly shine. Christ consciousness isn't just love and light, it's also the fire that purifies. It burns away everything that isn't truth, until only truth remains. 3. Forgiveness is the gateway to divinity. Real forgiveness isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about releasing the burden, the story, the identity of the wounded self. When Jesus forgave those who crucified him, he wasn't being passive. He was showing us that love transcends pain, that even in betrayal, we can choose compassion, that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's divine power. Every time you choose to forgive, you open your heart wider. You become more like Christ. You are not just a believer, you are a bridge. If you're still with me, I want to remind you of something sacred. You are not here just to believe in Christ. You are here to embody Christ consciousness. You are the bridge between heaven and earth, between form and spirit, between the divine and the human. You are the living temple, the breath of God in motion, the hands of love reaching through time. You were never meant to just admire Jesus from afar. You were meant to walk the path he illuminated, to carry the torch, to shine the light, to awaken the Christ within you. And when you do, everything changes. Not because the world changes, but because you do. By now, you may feel that spark inside, the deep knowing that Christ consciousness isn't just a mystical idea. It's a living reality that's waiting to rise within you. So the next question is simple, but powerful. How do I live it? How do I bring Christ consciousness into my everyday life? Not just in moments of prayer or peace, but right in the middle of the chaos, the doubt, the traffic, the heartbreak. Because that's where awakening really happens, not on the mountaintop, but in the mess. Here are 5 daily practices, simple but sacred, that gently awaken the divine Christ energy within you. 1. Silence the world, enter the inner temple. If God lives within you, shouldn't you visit that sacred place daily? Create time, just 10 or 15 minutes, to sit in stillness. Not asking, not fixing, just being. Close your eyes, breathe gently, and imagine entering a temple of light inside your heart. No thoughts, no roles, just presence. This is where the Christ within speaks, not through loud declarations, but through a quiet whisper. At first, it may feel empty, but keep returning. The more you enter the inner temple, the more the divine reveals itself. 2. Practice radical love even when it's hard. Christ consciousness is not passive. It is active love. It means loving when it's inconvenient, forgiving when it's undeserved, choosing understanding over judgment. So every day, ask yourself, where can I bring more love into this moment? Who needs my light? Even if they don't deserve it. It could be a stranger, a friend, or even yourself. Love is not a feeling, it's a choice. And every time you choose it, you align with Christ energy. Remember, Jesus loved the lepers, the tax collectors, the betrayers, not because they were lovable, but because he was love itself. So are you. 3. Forgive completely and often. Forgiveness is one of the fastest ways to open your heart to divine truth. Not because it erases the pain, but because it removes the poison. Who are you still holding in resentment? What story are you still telling that's keeping you small? Every time you release someone from your judgment, you set yourself free. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying, "It was okay." It means saying, "I choose to no longer carry this." And every time you do, more light flows into your being. That's Christ consciousness in action. 4. Die before you die. This one sounds dramatic, but it's deeply spiritual. To awaken, you must let the old you die. The part of you that's rooted in fear, that needs validation, that fights to be right, that identifies with your past, your pain, your personality. Let it go. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "Whoever loses their life for my sake shall find it." He wasn't talking about physical death. He meant the ego self. When you release that identity, your true self, your soul rises. You don't become less human. You become more divine. 5. Live as if you already are the light. Here's the deepest secret. You don't have to achieve Christ consciousness. You just have to remember it. It's already within you, like a sun behind the clouds. So begin acting from that place today. Speak as if your words create peace. Walk as if your feet are blessings to the earth. Look at others as if you're seeing God in disguise. Love as if the person in front of you is you in another form. You don't need to feel worthy. You just need to show up. Because every time you do, that light within you grows stronger. And soon, it won't just be a spark, it will become a fire. Spiritual awakening isn't about escaping the world. It's about transforming it from the inside out. By bringing silence into your morning, love into your interactions, forgiveness into your past, surrender into your ego, and light into your presence. You become a walking portal of Christ consciousness. And make no mistake, this world desperately needs more awakened souls. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are a divine being in human form, and your presence is part of the plan. Don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to feel ready. Start today. Live it. Be the light, now. As Christ consciousness begins to awaken in you, not just as a concept, but as a living force, something truly miraculous starts to happen. Your outer life may not look drastically different at first, but your inner world, it transforms entirely. It's as if a veil begins to lift. You start to see things not with your eyes, but with your soul. Let me explain. Time begins to feel different. You'll notice it one day, maybe during meditation, or when you're in nature, or simply watching the sky. Time softens. The moment expands. There's no rush, no anxiety, no what's next. There's only now, and the now feels eternal. This is the Christ mind, the timeless awareness that isn't caught in past regrets or future fears. It simply is. It observes all things, but clings to nothing. You begin to understand. Peace is not found in escaping time, but in being fully present within it. You begin to sense the invisible. You might feel someone's emotions before they speak. You might notice synchronicities, numbers, symbols, coincidences that guide you forward. You begin sensing the energy in a room, or feeling called to certain places, people, or paths for reasons the mind can't explain. This isn't magic. It's not fantasy. It's simply the natural result of living in alignment with divine consciousness. Your inner senses, the ones long buried by logic and noise, start coming online. You realize you've always been connected to something higher. You just forgot. The world no longer feels like the whole picture. As Christ consciousness expands, the material world starts to feel lighter, less solid, less final. You begin to understand. This body is a vehicle. This life is a chapter. This world is a classroom. You start to see through things. The drama, the division, the endless chasing. It's not that you stop caring. In fact, you care more deeply, but you care from a place of soul, not from fear. You're no longer playing the game of control. You're becoming the witness to the game and the player of light within it. You live more from the soul, less from the mind. The mind wants to be right. The soul wants to be whole. The mind compares. The soul connects. And as Christ consciousness rises, your soul takes the lead. You speak less from ego, and more from essence. You feel no need to prove, or preach, or push. Your presence begins to speak for you. Even in silence, people feel your peace. Even in stillness, your light heals others. This is the natural fruit of divine awakening. You don't force it. You become it. You no longer fear death. One of the most beautiful signs of true spiritual awakening is this. You stop fearing death. Not because you want to die, but because you remember you never truly can. You're not just this body. You're not just this personality. You are the eternal awareness behind it all. You've died 1,000 times before, and you will rise again, because your true self is not born, and it cannot be destroyed. When Christ said, "I am the resurrection and the life," he wasn't boasting. He was revealing a universal law of spirit. What is true in God cannot die, and that truth is who you are. So what happens when you awaken Christ consciousness? You don't escape the world, you elevate it. You don't leave your body, you become more fully embodied. You don't become less human, you become divinely human. The veils lift. The illusions fall. And you begin to walk this world, not as someone trying to survive it, but as a soul here to light it up. You remember, heaven was never somewhere you go. Heaven is something you become. There's a belief that's lived in the hearts of millions for centuries, that one day, the Christ will return, that the skies will open, and a divine figure will descend with light and power and glory to heal the world. And yes, the Christ is returning, but not in the way most people expect, not through a man in robes descending on a cloud, but through you, and through every soul who dares to awaken the divine light within. The second coming is not an event, it's a collective awakening. Let this truth settle in your heart. The second coming is not a future moment in history. It is a present unfolding in human consciousness. It's happening every time someone chooses love over fear. Every time someone forgives instead of retaliating. Every time someone turns inward and remembers. I and the divine are one. This is not symbolic. It's literal. The Christ light is returning to earth through us. You are the vessel, the voice, the flame. You are not a spectator in some cosmic event. You are the vessel of its unfolding. You are the voice that brings healing, the hands that bring comfort, the flame that brings illumination to a world still walking in shadow. And here's what's so miraculous. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be holy in the way religion defined it. You simply have to say yes to your soul, yes to your awakening, yes to your calling, yes to becoming the living embodiment of divine love. The kingdom of heaven is born through you. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you," he didn't mean it figuratively. He meant it as a reality that is birthed through each of us. Heaven is not somewhere far away. It's not something you wait for. It's something you create by living as love in every moment you can. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, faith instead of fear, compassion instead of condemnation, you become a portal, a doorway, a living presence of Christ consciousness on earth. So if you've ever wondered, when will the Christ return? Here's the answer. Right now. Through you. Through the awakening hearts across this planet. Through the quiet ones. The broken ones. The ones who remember the light despite all they've endured. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be loud. You simply have to be true. True to your soul. True to love. True to the divine presence rising within you. Because the second coming isn't something we watch. It's something we live. And you, beloved, are part of it. Beloved soul, we've walked together through remembrance, through mystery, through truth. We've looked into the heart of Christ not as a distant figure, but as a living presence within you. Not a religion, not a symbol, but a divine reality, waiting to be awakened in your own being. You've felt the call. You've recognized the signs. You've tasted the silence, the love, the light that whispers from your deepest self. And now, you stand at a sacred threshold, because now you know this isn't just spiritual theory. This is your path, your birthright, your invitation to live as the light you were born to carry. A quiet reminder from the Christ within you. Let these words land not in your mind, but in your soul. You are not separate from the divine. You are not too broken to rise. You are not too late to awaken. You are the light this world has been waiting for. The world will continue rushing, distracting, dividing. But you can be different. You can be the stillness. You can be the presence. You can be the miracle. Not by doing more, but by being more aware, more compassionate, more surrendered, more aligned with the divine truth that Christ lives in you. Now it's your turn. If this message stirred something inside you, if something ancient remembered itself as you listened, don't just keep it in your heart. Live it and share it. Take one moment today to sit in silence and say, "I am ready. I remember who I am." Choose to forgive one person even if they don't deserve it. Love more openly. Speak more truthfully. Walk more mindfully. And if you feel called, share this message with someone who's ready to awaken. 2. We are not alone in this. We are a global family of awakening souls. And together, we are the return of the Christ light on earth. If you felt the power of this message, make sure you like this video to help it reach others who are ready to remember. Subscribe for more messages that nourish your spirit. Comment below what part of this message awakened something in you. I read every comment, and your voice matters. Because this isn't just a channel. This is a temple, a movement, a gathering of those ready to live in love, light, and truth. And now, go. Live the message. Be the light. You are the second coming.